Hi everyone, welcome to Edu Park. We are discussing first chapter history Harappan civilization. Friends, we have discussed the historical sources of Harappan civilization. Now we have to move to another main topic, that is the origin of the Harappan civilization. When we are analyzing the history of Harappan civilization, maybe we are very curious to know about the origin. Let's come to the point. There are several theories regarding the origin of the Harappan civilization. So these theories can be categorized into two groups. First one is known as the foreign origin and the second one is known as the indigenous origin. So let's talk about the foreign origin. Some scholars believe that this civilization came into existence as a result of certain migration of people with an urban civilization to the Indus Basin. According to the scholars, the Harappan civilization was an offshoot of the Mesopotamian civilization. However, excavations at various Harappan sites have indicated striking differences between the Harappan and the Mesopotamian civilization. Some scholars also held the view that trade with Mesopotamia played a crucial role in the transformation of the Harappan civilization from the early stage to the mature stage. The duration of the Harappan civilization from its beginning can be divided into three periods. The first one is the early period that starts from 3300 BCE to 2600 BCE. Second one is the mature phase and it starts from 2600 to 1900. Third phase is the later phase that is starts from 1900 to 1300. We have said that some scholars also held the view that trade with Mesopotamia played an important role in the transformation of the Harappan civilization from the early stage to the mature phase. But this theory has been rejected on the ground that there is no evidences of trade with Mesopotamia during the early Harappan period has been found. Next perspective of the origin of the Harappan civilization is the indigenous origin. Recent researchers show that the roots of the Harappan civilization deep in the Indian soil. This perspective stick on the view that this is only the indigenous origin other than the foreign origin. According to some historians, the urban Harappan culture was only an outgrowth of the extensive local village culture and not of foreign origin. These cultures probably contributed to the growth of the Harappan civilization together with the external stimulus provided by the trade contact with Mesopotamia. These historians found some of the similarities between pre-Harappan and proto-Harappan culture at Kotiji, Amri and Kalibangan. These historians found some of the similarities between the pre-Harappan and the proto-Harappan culture at Kotiji, Amri and Kalibangan in terms of granary, defensive walls and long distance trade in these settlements. From this, historians concluded that the Harappan civilization evolved from these agricultural communities. Next topic to be discussed in this chapter is extension of the Harappan civilization. We are analyzing the area of the Harappan civilization here. The area of Harappan civilization is triangular in shape and it accounts for around 1.3 million square kilometer and was a largest area amongst the ancient civilization. It was extended from Sutkagandar on the sea coast of South Balochistan in the west to Alamgirpur in the upper Ganga Yamuna Doab in western UP in the east and from Manda in Jammu in the north, Bhadrab in Narmada estuary in the south. The Harappan cultures covers the parts of Punjab, Haryana, Balochistan, Gujarat, Rajasthan and some fringes of the western UP. In 1947, India partitioned to India and Pakistan. Consequent to the partition of the India, the main centers of civilization like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Chanhu-daro, Sutkagandar are now in Pakistan. Some of the centers of this civilization in India are Manda, Kalibangan, Banwali, Lothal, Ropar and Rangpur. In recent years, many more extensions of this civilization in Gujarat and Punjab have been discovered. Dholavira in Gujarat was most prominent among them. Largest sites of the Harappan civilizations are Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Kalibangan, Lothal. Next topic is urban planning. In this topic, we are analyzing the urban planning of Harappan civilization under the headings of the Harappan cities, features of urban planning, houses, and the monumental architecture. The Harappan cities. The two most important Harappan cities are Harappa in Montgomery districts of Punjab and Mohenjo-daro of Larkana districts of Sindh. Now, both in Pakistan. These two cities are linked by the river Indus, so the name of the civilization is Indus Valley Civilization. Third city is lies at Chanhudara, about 130 km south of Mohenjo-daro. The latter Harappan phase has also been discovered in Rangpur in Kathiawar districts of Gujarat. Now let's talk about the features of urban planning. Friends, we are analyzing the Harappan cities. The most striking feature of the Harappan civilization is its urban planning. The Indus cities different from the Sumerian, introducing Mesopotamian civilization in modern Iraq. While the Sumerian cities developed around the temple and followed a circular pattern, but the Indus or the Harappan cities followed a grid pattern. That is the difference between the Mesopotamia and the Harappan civilization. This is indicated by the regularity of the divisions, the alignment of the streets, and the planning of the houses and public building with the provision for the thoroughfares. Anyway, let's see which are the main characteristics of the town planning of the Harappan civilization. First one was, city was divided into two parts, the raised area called the citadel and lower town. When we have discussed the sources of Harappan civilization, we have seen that. Its height to the building which were constructed on mud brick platforms. The citadel was separated from the lower town by a brick wall. When we have discussed the sources of Harappan civilization, we have seen that its height to the building which were constructed on the mud brick platforms. The citadel was separated from the lower town by a wall. The important buildings like the Great Bath, the granary, the assembly and the workshop are located on the citadel. The lower town had a residential building where the ordinary people lived and worked. Second one is the main streets followed a grid pattern running from the north to south or east to west. Third one is the houses at street corners were rounded to allow cars to pass easily. Fourth, that is, the house drains emptied all wastewater into the street drains. Friends, which means that the drainage of the houses which was connected to the main drainage system of the streets. Fifth one, the streets cross the main road at right angles, dividing the city into square or rectangular blocks. Next topic comes under the urban planning is the houses. The main characteristics of the houses we need to discuss here. First one is the residential buildings were built according to a set plan on a high mound in order to protect them from floods, and their foundations were in deep. Second one is the variation in the size of houses from single room tenements to bigger houses with the courtyards round up to 12 rooms, private rooms and toilets. Third one is the houses at street corners were rounded to allow cars to pass easily. Fourth one, that is the house drains emptied all wastewater into the street drains. Third one is the houses at street corners were rounded to allow cars to pass easily. Fourth one, that is the house drains emptied all wastewater into the street drains. Friends, which means that the drainage of the houses which was connected to the main drainage system of the street. Fifth one, the streets cross the main road at right angles and it dividing the city into square or rectangular blocks. Next topic comes under the urban planning is the houses. The main characteristics of the houses we need to discuss here. First one, the residential buildings were built according to a set plan on a high mound in order to protect them from floods, and their foundations were deep. Second one, The variation in the size of houses from the single room tenements to bigger houses with courtyards around up to 12 rooms, private wells and toilets. These houses had covered drains connected with the street drains. Now only we have seen this. While talking the feature of the urban planning, we have scrutinized or analyzed that. Now only we have seen that while talking the feature of the urban planning. Next feature of the houses is the entrances to the houses were from the narrow lanes which cut the street at right angles. Fourth one, the kitchen was placed in a center corner of the courtyard and the ground floor contained storerooms and well chambers. And at last, the houses were made of brick and wood, windows and ventilators. Doors and windows open the side of the streets and not on the main roads. So guys, in this part we have discussed the extension and some aspects of the urban planning of the Harappan civilization. Thank you for your watching.